Good evening, welcome to the Full-Time Devils takeover of the XS Manchester Football Social. My name is Joe and welcome. We're going to be speaking all things Manchester United for an hour and it's going to be great. Isn't that right? Gaz and Webby.
Yes!
It always is.
It always is. There's a couple of things we want to talk about. We want to be talking about Sir Alex Ferguson. Let's look back. 31 years this week since he took charge of Manchester United. Get in touch with your memories. Get in touch with what's kind of happened since he's left. But let's think of the positives, Webby. So we'll be speaking to Webby about some of your favourite memories of the Fergie era. And we can also speak to Gaz about, I know you've only been on a couple of trips to 2008. We went to the Champions League final. We can just have a show of reminiscing, and that'd be good. But we've also got
a show of nostalgia.
A show of nostalgia.
I like it.
We've also got some serious topics to speak about because it's not so sunshiny at the minute for Manchester United. The gloom was sort of set over Old Trafford, and in a way, we got to pick ourselves up a bit. We've got to get our heads high. A defeat at the weekend against Chelsea. It was a place where maybe we thought this time we'd go and get a win, judging by what Mourinho did against Tottenham. Let us know what you think about that. 87711. Give us a call. 0345 111 7625. If you're sitting at home now and you think you know certain reasons why United got beat, or you want certain things to happen in the United squad, give us a call now, 0345 111 7625. Come on and tell us about what you think. Webby, will hand over to you first. Good evening, by the way.
Good evening, Joe.
So, Chelsea defeat, what did you make of it?
Just thought it was poor. We had a 10-minute spell where we looked dangerous. But look at our record down there. 1 win in 15 years in the league. It's terrible, you know. And to be honest, I was saying to the lads, I didn't go to the game. We've played some really good Chelsea teams since Abramovich coming before that. You like Sir Lampard, Joel Cole, Terry was a great player at the time, and Robin and Drobka. And we've got like draws, but they was there for the taking. Yeah. And we didn't do it again. Now, I've just had a tweet before about someone said, mentioning about the new manager, someone who doesn't park the bus. We never park the bus. The parking the bus to me is 10 players behind the ball fighting for their lives for 90 minutes. The tactics weren't right. The big disappointment again was Mkhitaryan. He didn't do anything in the game, and Rashford's got to score that header but close his eyes, and Chelsea was there for the taking. You don't have to look what City did the other week. They did a job on him. Very, very disappointing, and we're up against it now. We've got 4 games now, which we've got to win. We've got Newcastle, Brighton, Watford and Arsenal. We've got to beat. We've got to win all 4.
I think that's the phrase there. We're up against it.
Yeah.
We're up against it, aren't we, guys?
Sorry, guys. You can't see the turnaround of teams, not just us, are doing the 3 games. Because that's what it is, and it's 3 games. You can't see City losing 3 games at the moment. They'll have a bad spell, but it's whether other teams can capitalise and win their games. It's very, very difficult.
I think that's exactly the problem, though, isn't it? I mean, if someone offered me our form at the start of the season, I wouldn't actually be too disappointed with how it is. But because City are, and it pains me to say it, but let's face it, you've got to admit, they are playing so well at the minute and getting such good results, scoring a lot of goals, and just the performances are so much better that it obviously makes us sort of a bit more critical to United. Whereas I think there are past seasons where we've started the league in a lot worse form than we have done, and then gone on to win it by loads of points. So I think to say things like, I know that you've not said that, but a lot of people are saying that like the title race is over already, is absolutely ridiculous. It's a stupid thing to say. However, at the minute, you've got to say City looking miles better. And if you were to put me on the spot now and ask who's going to win the league, I'd say Man City. But one positive to take from the Chelsea game, yeah, we were rubbish. It wasn't even so much as an off day because we've had a few recently. But if you can put it down to an off day, then you can also say that Chelsea were absolute rubbish in that game as well. I thought Chelsea were rubbish. I thought we were even worse, but Chelsea were rubbish as well. And I think Chelsea have been a little bit more consistently rubbish this season than we have been. So maybe that's a little bit of a positive, and maybe that's just me trying to put a bit too much of a spin on it.
Yeah. I can say that Mkhitaryan just scored for Armenia. They're breaking news there on the international front. 87711. Who in the sort of long haul will take responsibility for the recent performances, Webby? Will it be the players like Rashford who didn't take the chances, or is Mourinho not just setting them up right?
No, I just think it's just performance. I don't think setting up right's a problem. I just think it's the players are having off days, you know, and I look at some of our players there on Sunday and I just wasn't impressed, you know, and you look at the goal which should have been a goal of Phil Jones, and I'm thinking, are some of these players big enough and good enough to play for Manchester United, you know? And I keep saying to my friends and and people, would he get in that team? And you've got to say some of them won't. You know, we should have the biggest and best players going. You know, we're the biggest club in the world, not just in my eyes, with a lot of people's eyes. Obviously, I'm biased because I'm a Red, but some people there, you've got to stand up at these big matches, lay a marker down, and we never did it, you know. People going about Rashford, he's only a kid, which is fair enough, and he shut his eyes for... And then people going about Lingard, he's 24 now, he's not a kid.
No, he's not.
You know, so they've got to be good enough for United, and some of them now aren't pulling the weight, and they've got to realise about the badge and the team we play for, and we've got to make it a fight with City, and if we keep playing like that, they're going to run away with it. Like Gaz said, the title's not over. Hopefully City have a nice long bad winter, but I can't see it happening, you know. And we've got to make, once they slip up, we've got to take advantage. In some games, but like saying the next 2 home games, it's got to be 6 points, 100%.
Do you see anything in Mourinho where you think, is this man 100%?
Says a few dodgy things in the press, doesn't he? I think sometimes.
But even when he stood on the sideline, he's not looking. He's not got a big smile.
I'm not having the sideline stuff. I think that's all premeditated, and I think a lot of the stuff in the press is premeditated as well. You notice he does it because he likes people talking about him. He'd rather the press saying, Mourinho's mental, Mourinho's losing it, than saying the team's rubbish, which is probably,
yeah, but I mean,
probably
you
the
can
actual
say
truth.
that, Gaz. You can say, he wants to take the emphasis on himself.
No, he
deflects
it off the players. It's great. You know what I mean? Let him have a go at the manager. He's laughing there. You could see it against Spurs. The Spurs fans were giving him hell for 90 minutes. Final whistle went to the lips. We've won. And we should have built on after the Spurs game. It wasn't a great performance, but it was a win against a good team who I thought would struggle against. But we've not moved on, and you look at the Huddersfield game, and I said it before, we wasn't ready. We should have been ready. Fair play to them, they deserve to win. Now it's about bouncing back, and for me, I'm thinking, is this international break come at a good time, or is it a bad time? Should we want to be back on the pitch straight away? I think it's come at a good time for everyone to get their house in order, have a look, and let's get it sorted for the Newcastle game, because by the time we kick away against Newcastle, I think City play in the morning, we could be 11 points behind. You know, and that's ball pressure on us.
So let's not talk about that.
That's horrid, isn't it? That?
87711. Let's talk about Ferguson, because it was 31 years. Sorry, this week since Ferguson took over of Manchester United. Now I've got a question for you. It's a question we'll be running all show, and I need you to get it right. Let me get this right. So at the end of every season, Ferguson took charge of Manchester United. There was a top goal scorer, and 5 of the top goal scorers scored over 30 goals. Only 5. Can you name them 5? You can text us 87711. Tweet at XS Manchester. Name the 5 players who, under Sir Alex Ferguson, scored 30 or more goals in a season. Let us know, 87711. And whilst we're on that, and whilst we're on you getting in touch with the show, we want to get your stories in about your first Manchester United top. Now, I want to speak to you two both about your first shirt. Now, Webby got an interesting story about your first top.
Yeah, first shirt and last shirt he ever...
Shirt and last?
Last, yeah, I'm not a shirt, I'm a badge man.
Yeah.
1978, my mum bought me on cup final day against Arsenal. Admiral, match, Pancho Pearson, just a number on the back, and a pair of matching sweatbands.
Oh, mega.
And I cried my eyes out when Alan Sunderland got that winner. Yeah, it was a bad day, but that was the only kit I got, and I've never wore one since. But
do you know where it is?
Don't fit me, Job. I can tell you that. Wherever it is, it won't fit me, mate.
It doesn't fit.
I've not got a clue, mate. I wore it first.
Might fit me.
Oh, it fit you, Gaz. Yeah, definitely won't fit me.
Gaz, what was your first top?
Mate, you know what? I had so many growing up. I'm like Webby. I'm not a shirt man anymore. I don't wear replica kits. But when I was growing up, I had loads. I remember that reversible one, that gold one, and then
God,
you reverse it. That was a great. I loved that kit when I was a kid. The first one that I can properly remember, and the first one that I remember getting a name on though, was it 2005 when the badge was in the middle and you had the white bits on the little collar there?
Yeah,
I had that,
the tick,
and I had my surname Drinkwater on the back.
You did.
But the thing is, I was like 10 years old or something. I had it, and my 2 little brothers had it, and my littlest brother Henry was 6, but his shirt was too small to get Drinkwater on the back, so we just got Henry on the back. But the thing is, we went round all the pubs and people would be like, "Why have you got Henry on the back of your United shirt?" It's just like...
I got something worse than that. I can't really remember what year it was. I think it was about 7 or 8. And for some bizarre reason, I don't know why I just didn't get McGrath on the back, but my mum convinced me to get Joseph on the back. Like, not even Joe. So I've got a shirt somewhere which is like small. I don't even remember what year it was. Maybe 2001, 2002, with the words Joseph 10 on the back, like that. So that was the story of my first shirt. Let us know what your first shirt was. First United kit, 87711. Well done, Russ and Paul, both getting the correct 5 for the answer to today's question.
I was going to say, putting us to shame.
Russ is a guy who gets in touch quite a lot. I'm not saying he's Googled it. I rate he's got it spot on. And Paul and Blakely smashing it as well. It's just you two gentlemen.
I Googled it and still got 2 wrong.
I'm just still unsure about a few. There's only 3 that I'm sure of.
I'll give you the question again. Okay, so Sir Alex Ferguson took charge in all the seasons. The top goal scorer in them seasons scored 30 or more goals. There was only 5 players who scored 30 or more goals for Sir Alex Ferguson at the end of the season. And who are them players? Russ and Paul, you've got it spot on. You have smashed it. And the guys in the studio, you're not looking too confident over there, boys.
To be fair, what did you say it was? 31 years since 30. I was but a twinkle in my mother's eye 31 years ago, so...
You were something else in
that's my excuse.
Snap, so was I. That's my excuse.
Sorry, Dad and Mum, if you're listening. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for that as well. This is the Exodus Manchester Football Social, the Full-Time Devils takeover. Speaking of Fergie, who took over 31 years ago this week, do we miss him every day? Oh. That noise alone just makes you realise it. You were telling us a story, Webby, that I hope you can tell on air about what you called Fergie's funeral. Yeah,
it was the FA Cup. We drew Forest away. We got beat 2-1 at home the previous Saturday by Palace. The crowds were going down, and remember the old banner "Tara Fergie" come out, which a lad wrote a book about. And we went to Forest and we named it on the coach's Fergie's funeral. Getting there, we had a right load of injuries, suspensions, but it's got to say, for any Reds who were listening, that away end that day was immense. We had all the bottom at the side. It was unreal. It was absolutely bouncing. We won 1-0. Hughes' cross for Mark Robbins, and then we went every game that year was away from home. We went to Edinford the next round. I went to that. Clayton Blackmore, and we went to Newcastle, beat them 3-2. Danny Wallace got the winner. Sheffield Wednesday quarter-finals, Brian McClare. The semi-finals against Oldham at Main Road. You know, Robbins pops up again with a winner in the replay. And obviously the 2 games against Palace and the development, the Les Seeley coming in for the replay. There's plenty of stories, you know. We could talk about the great times, but we did have bad times on the Fergie, but there was more great times. But I'll never forget that Forest one, you know. When you were down on getting there on the coach, what was the sort of feeling? Would you have been happy if, obviously, hindsight's a great thing, and you can say, oh no, what Fergie's done for United is incredible, but was there a sense of frustration for United fans at the time? If Fergie got beat that game, would you have been happy to sort of see someone else come in and take on Man United? Yeah, because Martin Edwards said they wouldn't have sacked him, but let's have it right. We'd been out of the FA Cup, was at the bottom towards the bottom of the league. I remember that year. It might be the next. We had to go to Millwall. We won at Millwall 2-1, and it brought us up to about 16th in the league. But if we'd have lost that day, we'd have got it in the bottom 3. And there was some bad times under Fergie, and we stuck with him, and fair play to Martin Edwards. He stuck with the manager, and the rest is history. But there was bad times, you know, and we turned them around. The crowds were going down. But obviously that one at Forest, and obviously the first trophy winning the FA Cup, and like you say, the rest is history. The man's a god, you know what I mean? And I wish he'd come back now, you know, but it's not going to happen. But great man, great manager. Best I've seen, the best he'll ever will be. Exactly. And then from then on, what do you remember about the first league title that Fergie won? What was that season? It was obviously, I can always remember I got to Crystal Palace on the midweek game and sneaking out of work, telling me I had to go to the doctors. And obviously we played Palace that night. We won 2-0. Usually scored the volley and then scored. And Villa were playing at Blackburn the same night, but kicked off 15 minutes afterwards. So with all people there with the radios, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. And I knew from that day it was our title. And then obviously they played Oldham on the Sunday at Villa Park, and Nick Emre scored a belt. And I can always remember, I was actually in a pub where Sky was filming, the reactions at full time, and it was great, you know, to see us win that league, because I'd never seen us do it before. It was a great weekend, and then we played Blackburn on the bank holiday. Can't remember much about the game. And we won 3-1 and we lifted the trophy. But that night at Palace, we won 2-0, and Villa got beat 3-0 at Blackburn, and it was happy days. When you saw the Premier League get lifted and you saw Fergie in charge, you saw the players, did you know that sort of, I'm going to be supporting a club here that are going to
go on, win a lot, and make my mates who are United fans, happy lads.
You did, and then obviously when we sold all the players, afraid for us, that season. Obviously I'd seen Nicky Butt and Gary Nevin, Scholes and all that for his ears. But then I'm thinking, are they good enough? Well, if the manager said he's good enough, they're good enough for me. But when you've seen Kanchelski's leave and Hughes and Inns, I feared for us.
Yeah.
But after they won the league that year, we can see it was dominant for years. Those players grew bigger and stronger, and Beckham was about, and it was great times at the club to see him come through. And we don't get that now. I'd love nothing more, me, than to see 3 or 4 kids come through. But now they don't get the time. You might get, I think you just get 1 or 2. That's it. But great times under Fergie.
Could you imagine that happening nowadays?
No,
just
never,
like Jose, just like shifting a load of Deadwood out the squad, just replacing him with a load of unproven kids. Imagine the meltdown on Twitter. Could you imagine Twitter?
It would be crazy. Did anyone see the sort of story that went around Twitter the other day about when Fergie beat Arsenal playing 7 defenders?
Oh, right. Okay.
I'll try and get that team up whilst we speak to Gary, because Gaz. Oh, don't call him Gary.
All right, Joseph.
Don't call him Gary. Gaz, because you have some fond memories. At the time you went to Moscow?
Yeah. I'm a proper millennial. All I ever knew was Fergie. And I can talk about the memories of individual games, but there's just one game and one real campaign that sticks out more than anything, and that is the time that we, of course, did win the double and then winning the Champions League in Moscow. I was at that game. I was there with my granddad and my grandma, funnily enough. And, mate, it was just the best experience I've ever had at a game, just chilling out with the Russians all day. And then, of course, the match, which kicked off so late as it was.
12:15 or 11 or something. It was mad.
And then it went to penalties, of course. And then, when you saw Ronaldo step up, I remember just being a kid, I remember just thinking, I was about 13, 14. I remember just thinking, if he misses, we're done for. As soon as he missed, just tears rolled. I was gone. I was crying for the entirety of the rest of the penalty shootout. In fact, until I left the stadium, I was crying then, with various different emotions, emotional roller coaster, and just exactly why you love football, stuff like that. Even when John Terry stepped up, even when he missed, I was just there like, it's still not going to happen.
Sorry, guys. I knew we were going to win it when Anderson scored. I knew when he's got it in the back of the net, and there's a picture what you could buy him in the back of the net. And like you're saying, I was lucky to be there in Barcelona, and my mother went to the '68 Cup final. But to win it, because I always remember turning round and when Terry stepped up for his penalty, because I thought he was going to score. Yeah. But when Anderson hit that, and I know Giggs, but I can always remember once Anelka's penalty was saved, I lit the biggest cigar. And I was crying. Yeah. I was crying, maybe to do with the alcohol I'd taken in the day, but it was a great day. I remember coming back into Manchester, getting into town. It was great, and it was a great memory. It was a great team, that 2008. Great team.
You in Barcelona then, Webby?
Yeah, I was in Barcelona.
People might look at Ferguson's career, whatever he's done, the peak would be the treble season, and the season that obviously sort of will define him as one of the greatest managers of all time. The trip to Barcelona, not about the trip, but when it's 1-0 down, what are you thinking?
I tell you now, there was 6 of us who went to every round that year. We went to the prelim in Poland. And with 6 of us went to every game, the group stages, the quarters, the semis, and obviously the final. And I always remember looking up at the clock, 87 minutes, and we started talking about the previous games, because we weren't going to get anything. And I always remember when Teddy scored, I went down about 10 rows. As I'm going back up, the chair's going up again. I thought it was showing Teddy's equaliser, and so I never seen Ollie's goal live. I was walking back to my seat. I just thought it was showing the goal. I've turned round, we've won it, and I'll always remember the next morning in Barcelona station, as we'd walking through after being drinking all night till he took the tent down on us, is the picture of Kalou crying on the floor. It'll always stick in my mind. The big screen in Barcelona station, and what a night.
Can I ask then about any sort of, no kick-offs or whatever, but what were the Bayern fans like after that? Did you see any? Speak to any?
Yeah, we had a good drink with him. Like, obviously they was devastated, but they had a great team. And if you look at them tonight, they should have hammered us. Yeah. Let's have it right. And to be honest, they couldn't say anything else. They were gutted, so they were trying to be nice. Yeah. But when they got on that plane back home, they must have been absolutely dog sick.
Were they sound after then, having drinks?
Sound, yeah.
That's mad, that, because I think that's the only time that a football fan would be justified to start a fight.
Do you know what, though? If you look at Bayern Munich for the size of the club, they've got a great set of fans, you know.
Yeah,
when we go over to Germany, we're always welcome. They look after us. They're a great set of fans, and they could have been, like Gaz said, what to cause trouble, but they realised it was just one of those things, and we had a good drink and laugh with him, and I still speak to one now and again on the text who we swap numbers with, and when I've been over there, I've met him for a quick drink or whatever before we've played. And I always say to him, I always finish the text off 1999. So it's all good banter, but
great.
They're a massive club and they've won it since that day, so fair play to them.
That is 87711. If you've got any other memories you want to share with us about Fergie's era, get in touch now. Also give us a call, 0345 111 7625. You know I love a game, don't you? You know I love
yeah, we do. Don't we just?
So I've got another game for you. Are you ready for it?
Oh,
it's a good game. It's a really good game.
I believe it when I hear it. I already ate it.
I'm going to give you a quote. This round is the manager's round. I'm going to give you a quote from Ferguson, and you have to tell me what manager he was speaking about. Actually, we'll do players round first.
All right, okay.
If
so
he was
guess the player that
Fergie was going on about. I'll give you the quote. Guess the player that Fergie was on about. If he was an inch taller, he'd be the best centre half in Britain.
Gary Neville.
His father. You can't ruin the game. I'll give you the full. You are correct there, Gary Neville. I'll give you the full quote. If he was an inch taller, he'd be the best centre half in Britain. His father is 6'2". I'd check the milkman. That was Fergie there on Gary Neville. The next one. I bet him he wouldn't get 15 league goals, and I'm going to have to change my bet with him. If he gets 15, I can change it, and I'm allowed to. That's because I'm the manager. I'm going to bet he gets 150 now.
I've not got a clue. I've not got a clue. I was trying to make a guess. Van Nistelrooy.
It was on a young Ronaldo.
Oh, was it?
It was a young Ronaldo. And the final one of this round, it's... I was going to say it was about them. I remember the first time I saw him. He was just 13, and he just floated over the ground like a cocker spaniel chasing a piece of silver paper in the wind.
Is it Giggsy?
What you say, Webby?
It's Giggsy, isn't it?
It's Giggsy.
It's Giggsy, isn't it? Yeah, sweet. Perfect.
There we go. See, it was a good game. That
got one.
Next, we'll do the managers.
Okay,
which is even better. This is the XS Manchester Football Social. Make sure you listen till 7 because we're going to talk about a game that's happening on the weekend involving the class of '92. We'll also be discussing. We'll save about 30 seconds for the international break. We'll be giving you that long. We'll be giving you the answer to the question. Now, gentlemen, how many do you think you've got out of 5? Because the question is this. When Ferguson took over, it's a hard question to say. When Ferguson took over and was in charge for United that many times, the top goal scorer for Ferguson in a season, there were 5 players who scored 30 or more goals for him. 5 players
in a single season.
30 or more goals for him. Now, these players could have scored 30 or more goals in a couple of seasons, but that's not what we're after. 5 players who scored 30 or more goals for Sir Alex Ferguson in a season. You confident on how many you've got?
There's 3 that I'm 100% on, without doubt.
3.
But I can add a couple and see if I get them right.
Give us a call, 0345 111 7625. Got a caller on line 1. Caller, what's your name and where'd you come from?
It's Rob.
How you doing, Rob? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very, very well. Rob, you wanted to call up. You got a couple of points that you might want to put towards the lads. How are you feeling as a United fan now?
Apprehensive.
Apprehensive. Good word. Apprehensive. Why apprehensive?
Put on Scrabble that.
I rung up a couple of weeks ago before the Tottenham game. Said I wasn't convinced, and we blagged it. You know, we scored very late on, route 1, flick on from Lukaku, Martial finishes. And do you know what? Chelsea was not a surprise. This has been on the cards for a while. We're just not there yet. I can't quite put my finger on it, but you take Pogba out of our midfield, and we look so pedestrian.
Yeah, but sorry, Rob, mate. Right, firstly, you're saying take Pogba out the midfield and we look so pedestrian. Yeah, but he's a man. He is a man. He does play for us. Like he's just injured. Players go through injuries, and it affects the team in a negative way. And also, just hearing you there, you're going on like we got absolutely thrashed by Chelsea.
It could have been worse than 1-0.
But I don't think they were that good.
They weren't that good, and does that not concern you? They weren't that good, and we still lost.
Rob, I said before about...
Yeah, Webby, one sec. Webby, get his mic up.
What?
Get Webby's mic up.
Oh, sorry, Webby.
Rob, sorry about that. I said before the game, I thought that Chelsea team was there for the taking. Probably one of the weakest Chelsea teams I've seen in a good few years. And Rob, we was nothing, mate. Do you know, and even watching the match, we're not going... We had nothing, mate, apart from a 10-minute spell. You know, and our record down there, 1 win in 15 years in the league, is absolutely atrocious. And like you, Rob, we need Pogba back. We've got to win these next 4 games to hang on to City. And they're going to be hard, Watford away and Arsenal away. And even the 2 home games, we've got to be up for it straight away, Rob.
Rob makes a good point, though. What happens if the back end of the season we're going toe-to-toe with, say, City is still up there, or Chelsea, and it's a matter of points in it, and Pogba falls injured, and then what we're going to do? We're just
Joe, do you know who would have been ideal at Chelsea? Carrick would have been. It would have been ideal. So I don't know what's right. He's played. He was at 1 League Cup game. I don't know what his injury is. Because you look at the injuries now, we used to find out what kind of injury, but it's all seemed to be hush. How long's he out for? But he would have been ideal at Chelsea.
I can't quite put my finger on it, but something is not right. We're too slow. We're not moving the ball around. And I look at City, and listen, guys, I may be wrong, but don't worry about City, because the way United is shaping up, they'll be long gone. We've got a fight to hold on to second place. You know, a few weeks ago, it looked like a 2-horse race, and we're now second on goal difference. We've stopped scoring. Lukaku looks short of confidence. I don't know why he's persisting with Mkhitaryan. I said that for the Spurs game a few weeks ago, I'd have dropped him and put Mata in there. But we've got a fight on our hands, and you're right, not only do we need to win the next 4 league games, we've got to be looking well beyond that, because at the moment, it's a big ask recovering these points.
I just think it's too early doors, mate, just to be sort of dismissing us completely like that. I mean, earlier on you mentioned about
it's hard to think of positives, though, isn't it?
I mean, no, but the Tottenham game, like, for me, scoring at the end like that is a positive, and then, like, to someone else, obviously, you're aware that it's a negative to someone else. To me, that shows our determination, and getting up and winning that header and Martial finishing, that wasn't just luck. That wasn't just dismissed as, that wasn't just luck.
It's not luck. No, you play for it.
It's that time of the show, Webby. Have you got something that you'd like to get off your chest?
Yeah, what people must think I'm a right moaner. I'm a good lad, really, but I had a phone call off an ex-player start of the week, told me about, looks like Ozzy could be going, and then obviously there's other people I spoke to. Main thing he said was relationship with Woodward now. Woodward can bring in all the sponsorships he wants, that's why the Glazers love him. Alright, he's brought in some decent players, but we've also missed out on a lot of good players. The man's a rugby man. I remember waking up a few months ago when the Lions were on tour, and he's there waving a flag. He should have been in this country helping to get Perisic, you know, and other players. Now, for me, get him out, not get him out of the club, get him what he's good for, getting commercials, buying tyres, getting soup deals and popcorn, and get a football man and look after the football side, because he's not got a clue. Moan over. I
can tell you what, though, there's always something dodgy about someone being called Edward Woodward, isn't there? I mean, what a ridiculous Edward Woodward.
Yeah,
Edward Woodward. Well, that's where we getting you more off your chest there. It's therapy, isn't it? You know.
It is, it helps.
It does help. Gaz, nice one. You're there to sort of bring positive to it. Have you got a nice one this week?
I do, mate. And, you know, I'm basing this off hearsay, really, because we don't know 100%. But you would presume, since it was rumoured to be happening for the Chelsea game, that the next Man United game means that we will have the return of Paul Pogba. He's obviously not going to be playing for France over the international break, so he should be fresh, he should be ready, and he is exactly what we need in this Man United team right now. We've really missed that player who's been able to link defence to attack, or maybe we're under the cosh a little bit and we just need someone to set some up and get us going.
Yeah.
He's perfect there. The mentality side of things as well, I think that's where we've struggled, which I do blame Jose for, by the way, because that's his job, to instill that sort of winning mentality in the team. And if they've not got it, you blame him. But Paul Pogba coming in will help that, because he is a winner and he is proper motivated. So I want to see him back in the United team, and he looks like he'll be back next game. So absolutely buzzing. Nice one.
The international break is on the way, and we can speak about that. But let's just speak about something that you might all find interesting, and we can all have a chat about. Is that the game against Germany, England against Germany, we'll be using video assist.
Oh no!
We're using video refereeing.
I can't
stop from telling the facts here, boys.
Isn't this friendly? Sorry, Joe. Isn't this friendly all about one of them's released a new kit? Haven't they released a new kit to someone?
And they want to make some money. But what do you make about the video refereeing, Webby?
I'll always remember the game. Was it Bolton at Everton a few years back? Bolton scored. The ball went over the line, and that game, that points, relegated Bolton.
Yep.
So it's not going to take long to do something. If it's going to save, because that thing could have lost people's jobs.
Yeah.
Could have got the manager the sack. You know, so if it's there, let's use it. They use it in rugby. It doesn't take that long.
Nope.
Use it on major decisions. Don't use it on is that our throwing or our corner?
Yeah.
Let's use it on things what are major talking issues.
Yeah.
Not a problem with that. It's the way the world is. We've got to grow forward. And if it's there, we use it. And it's got to be used, Joe. It's got to be used.
When goal line technology was introduced, I admit I was a little bit against that because I feel like it took a lot of the discussion from the game. Like after it, a lot of the time, that's what you chat about in the pub. Do you see that ridiculous refereeing decision? However, now, and you see how seamlessly it works in the game, it's literally just a watch, clicks on, it never fails, ever. It's perfect. I really like it. It makes it a lot more fair. However, with the video technology, that won't be seamless. There's no way, surely, of doing that so it's seamless. The referee is going to have to stop the game, and everyone's going to have to be waiting around. And I tell you what, if it happens with Man United and we're playing the way that we have been playing, with the sort of boring style of football, there's no way I want to hang around for 2 minutes to find out if it actually was a corner.
There was one the other week, Italy, was it Juventus, got a penalty in the last minute at home. They lost the record to draw equal. And I think the referee took about 3 or 4 minutes to decide whether it was a penalty. You've actually seen it live. You've never seen a more blatant penalty in your life. He's gone to the screen. They've got the penalty after that, and he's missed it.
That's what I don't like.
He's missed it.
He's got to do it straight away. Split decision, yes or no, and then we move on.
I tell you what, as well, I don't want to be too tinfoil out here, but you know what'll happen? You'll start having it where it takes him a couple of minutes, 3 minutes to make the decision, and then in a couple of years, they'll start playing adverts during those 3 minutes that they're waiting. And then before later, we're basically the Super Bowl every weekend.
Yeah.
Can't be bothered with that.
Exactly. So we're just going to have to see how it goes, and fingers crossed it doesn't really take off, because I don't fancy it being introduced into the modern game. Let's move on to talk about, we've got a couple of minutes left, but loads to get through. The game on the weekend involving the class of 92, Webby. You can tell us maybe a bit more about this. It's going to happen at Salford City's, is it like a new stand that's opening?
Yeah, well, it's obviously the ground will be fully finished, the 4 stands on Sunday. It's going to be a great day. You can contact the club for tickets. I think when I spoke to the chair lady on Tuesday night, I think there was over 2.5, nearly 3,000 sold.
It's cracking, isn't it?
So you've got the likes of the class of 92 playing. You've got Rio Ferdinand, Dwight York, Steve McManaman, Jamie Carragher, Shane
Jamie Carragher's on there.
It's better than a current team.
I'll tell you what, there's some players I want to see Rio, you know what I mean? I bet he's still got.
I know, and the Full-Time Devils will be down there doing some filming, and it should be good. So if you want to if you can't get down there for any reason, make sure you get a ticket if you can get down there. But if you can't get down there for any reason, make sure you watch the video.
Yeah, 3 o'clock kick-off is. So, but there's all entertainment on before, so
exactly.
Get down there for 1 o'clock. The turnstile will open at 1. Get down there. There's plenty of stuff going on for kids, so it'll be a great day.
Make a day of it.
Make a day of it. Do that this Sunday, and let us know how it is. Tweet us at XS Manchester. Right, I want to give you the answers to the question that I had. So, the question was this. In Ferguson's career for Manchester United, 5 players scored... Come on, Joe. 5 players scored 30 or more goals under Ferguson in a season. Who were them players?
Ronaldo.
Okay.
Right, let's do this one at a time. So, you go first, Webby.
Ronaldo
is 1, yes. Wait, I need a tick here somewhere.
Go on. There we go. Van Nistelrooy.
Yes.
Wayne Rooney.
Yes.
I was Rooney one. I wasn't sure about Rooney. Van Persie.
Yes.
This is the hard one now. I've got 3 players that this could be.
Dwight York.
I've got a cross. I thought you were going to get more right. No.
Andy Cole.
Okay, Webby.
Solskjaer.
Sheringham?
Right, one more guess each.
I don't know.
You mentioned his name quite early on.
I mentioned his name?
Yeah.
Oh, I mentioned a lot of people. Brian McClare.
It is. It's Brian McClare.
Before my time.
Finishes the list. We were talking about Ferguson there because it is 31 years this week since he took over. So why not have a little bit more of a little quiz then? We're going to read out Fergie quote, and they're speaking about a certain person. The first round was players. Now this is managers.
This will be fun.
They say he's an intelligent man, right? Speaks 5 languages. I've got a 15-year-old boy from the Ivory Coast who speaks 5 languages.
I've got it.
Go on then.
Is it Wenger? Yeah.
It is. It's Wenger. Right, and the final one. I think he was very angry. He must have been disturbed for some reason. I think you have to cut through the venom of it, and hopefully he'll reflect and understand what he said was ridiculous.
The rather large Spanish waiter.
And his real name is?
Rafa Benitez.
Yeah, Rafa Benitez.
It's a fact. It's a fact. It's a fact.
I asked Jamie Carragher about that, obviously speaking to him, and he says... we told him not to do it. Him and Steven Gerrard said, don't do it. He went on and done it. And I can imagine Fergie sat home that night with a large bottle of wine, just laughing at him.
Laughing at it. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for being part of the show tonight. Reminiscing on Fergie and talking about Manchester United. Hopefully better things to come so we can talk about positive things on the show. If you've just missed it and you've heard maybe the final 5-10 minutes of it, get the podcast. That'll be ready very shortly. Thank you very much for listening. And watch the video tomorrow when it's out. See you later, boys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.